Hey guys, it's Casey. This is our weekly book reading of the Florence Scovel Shinn, The Ageless Wisdom for Today. This is going to be a little bit different of a chapter reading because I'm going to skip around. I know last week I did chapter 1, the week before that I did chapter 11, I think, something like that. This one, I keep just asking for direction, just asking for leads. And I'm telling you, if that's what you'll just do, if you'll just step back and say, you know what, I have no idea, where do you want me to go from here? I'm at a pivot, I need some type of direction, give me a lead. As I'm sitting here in this chair, if you will just exhale that release of control, you will get a lead. And I needed to do a weekly reading because I am really goaling to self-discipline myself. I've been listening to those motivational videos every morning on the way to work. I post them on my page. I post them on Change the Face of Depression's Facebook page. You can check that out. It's better than listening to the mainstream radio right now. It's definitely better than any type of music for me, what I'm doing, because I'm sick of being in that habitual downfall of depressive, narcissistic love music. Some of it's cool, the beats are fun, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I jam, and yep, I'm that lady that sings out loud in the car at the red light while everybody's watching. Don't care. That's me. And in the mornings on my way to work, I need some motivation. So I post one. They're pretty inspirational. I encourage you to check them out. Just put your earphones in. They last about 30 minutes, my entire traffic ride to work. And, it puts my mind in a good, positive place. There's several people on my text messaging list that I find one and I just send the link to. This is what I'm listening to. Hopefully it's good. And I'll just happy whatever day of the week. Hope you have a great day. Like I say in every one of my videos, it takes 7 positives to dissolve 1 negative. And this week has been a really rough week for me. I am diligently trying to stay positive. And this week, I'm skipping around. And the chapter that we're going to read is chapter 8. Intuition or guidance. So a couple of weeks back, I did the video interview with an addict. That video was very educational, and unfortunately, to my dismay, the friend that is an addict pawned my camera. So that set me back a little bit because that was a lot to do with everything that so here we are. Anyways, there's that. And, I did it at the end of the day, it's going to take care of itself. I'm not even worried about it. I'm not. But that negativity, that frustration, that put a damper on my week, my couple of weeks. It's been going on for a couple of weeks now. I mean, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, and it's just waiting on the process to take care of itself. But then I came home yesterday, and our bikes were stolen off of our porch patio. No, Dad, they weren't tied up because I don't have any preventative maintenance outside or a pole or anywhere to tie them to. And I have nowhere to put them inside, especially if they were to get poop or something on them. What am I supposed to do? I don't even have a water hose outside or a spigot to plug a water hose onto. So we're doing this. We're kicking butt. We're climbing Everest in our flip-flops. I'm just letting you know. It's been a challenge this week. With that being said, I felt like this chapter was extremely relevant to what I personally was going through, and I needed a reminder, and I'm trying to establish a genuine relationship with you guys. So I felt like if we had a lesson that was more centered towards something genuinely relatable, it would be easier to have a great discussion. So here we are, Chapter 8, Intuition or Guidance. Like I said, when I'm in traffic and I'm just having a moment, like, I'm stronger than this. Look at everything I've been through. Good Lord. Look at everything I've survived. We're still going. Here we are, Give me a lead. Where do I go from here? I didn't think I was going to make it to this point. I didn't foresee my life after all of these earth-shattering moments. And here I am, hanging out with you guys. There's life after this. It's incredible. Just keep going. Climbing Mount Everest in my flip-flops. God, one step at a time, one day at a time, sometimes one moment of a day at a time. But you can do it. I made it here. We're going to keep going. We can do it. So, Intuition or Guidance, Chapter 8. Acknowledge God in all thy ways, and God shall direct thy path. There is nothing too great of accomplishment for the woman who knows the power of her word and who follows her intuitive leads. By the word, she starts in action unseen forces and can rebuild her body or remold her affairs. It is therefore of the utmost importance to choose the right words, and the student carefully selects the affirmation she wishes to catapult into the invisible. She knows that God is her supply, that there is a supply for every demand, and that her spoken word releases this supply. Are y'all hearing me? Ask, and ye shall receive. A woman must make the first move. Draw nigh to God, and God will draw nigh to you. I have often been asked just how to make a demonstration. I reply, speak the word, and then do not do anything until you get a definite lead. Demand the lead, saying, Infinite Spirit, reveal to me the way. Let me know if there is anything for me to do. That's what I'm telling y'all. When I'm sitting there and I'm just like, okay, like, that's me. I literally, this is how it feels. All right. Brushing it off. I'm washing my hands of it. Washing my hands of it. Yep. Brushing it off my shoulder. I am to the point where I don't know where to go. There's several different routes that I could take. All of them lead me to a destination unknown. There's an exit off these interstates. This is what I'm relating it to. There's an exit off every single exit is a different place that we're going to go. May it be a relationship, may it be a job, may it be an accomplishment, a challenge, a hobby, any of the above. A choice, a decision, a big one, a big decision. Give me a lead. More than a hunch intuition. Like, slap me in the face with what I need to do next. Or have it fall into my lap. Whatever it is that you want to say. But at the end of the day, it's just, let me know if there's anything I need to do. The answer will come through intuition or a hunch, a chance remark from someone, or a passage in a book. The answers are sometimes quite startling in their exactness. That's what I love. This is so my this week. I just have to do it now. At the end of the day, you ask, all right, like, here you go. This is where you got to go next. And you're just like, ugh, that's so high up the mountain. You're telling me I still have to climb how many more? Oh, God, this is a high mountain. Ask for a lead. You're going to get one. The next destination. For example, a woman desired a large sum of money. She spoke the words, Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let all that is mine by divine right now reach me in great avalanches of abundance. Then she added, give me a definite lead. Let me know if there is anything for me to do." The thought came quickly. Give a certain friend, who had helped her spiritually, $100. She told her friend, who said, "Wait and get another lead before giving it." So she waited, and that day met a woman who said to her, "I gave someone $1 today. It was just as much for me as it would be for you to give someone 100. This was indeed an unmistakable lead, so she knew she was right in giving the $100. It was a gift that provided an investment, for shortly after that, a large sum of money came to her in a remarkable way. Giving opens the way for receiving. In order to create activity and finances, one should give. Tithing, or giving 1/10 of one's income, is an old Jewish custom and is sure to bring increase. Many of the richest people in this country have been tithers, and I have never known it to fail as an investment. The 10th part goes forth and returns blessed and multiplied, but the gift of the tithe must be given with love and cheerfulness, for God loveth a cheerful giver. Bills should be paid cheerfully. All money should be sent forth fearlessly and with a blessing. This attitude of mind makes a woman master of money. It is hers to obey, and her spoken word then opens vast reservoirs of wealth. A woman herself limits her supplies by her limited vision. Sometimes the student has a great realization of wealth, but is afraid to act. The vision and action must go hand in hand, as in the case of the woman who brought the expensive overcoat. A woman came to me asking me to speak of the word for a position, so I demanded, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for the woman's right position." Never ask for just a position. Ask for the right position, the place already planned in divine mind, as it is the only one that will give satisfaction. I then gave thanks that she had already received, and that it would manifest quickly. Very soon she had 3 positions offered to her, 2 in New York and 1 in Palm Beach, and she didn't know which one to choose. I said, "Ask for a definite lead." The time was almost up, and she was still undecided, when one day she telephoned. "When I woke up this morning, I could smell Palm Beach," she said. She had been there before and knew its balmy fragrance. I replied, "Well, if you can smell Palm Beach from here, it is certainly your lead." She accepted the position, and it provided a great success. Often one's lead comes at an unexpected time. One day I was walking down the street when I suddenly felt a strong urge to go into a certain bakery, a block or 2 away. The reasoning mind resisted, arguing, "There's nothing there that you want." However, I had learned not to reason, so I went to the bakery, looked at everything, and there was certainly nothing there that I wanted. But coming out, I encountered a woman I had thought of often, who was in great need of the help that I could give her. So often one goes for one thing and finds another. Intuition is a spiritual faculty and does not explain, but simply points the way. A person often receives a lead during a treatment. The idea that comes may seem quite irrelevant, but some of God's leadings are mysterious. In the class one day, I was treating that each individual would receive a definite lead. A woman came to me afterward and said, "While you were treating, I got the hunch to take my furniture out of storage and get an apartment." The woman had come to be treated for health. I told her I knew in getting a home of her own, her health would improve. And I added, "I believe your trouble, which is in a congestion, has come from having things stored away. Congestion of things causes congestion of the body. You have violated the law of use, and your body is paying the penalty." So I gave thanks the divine order was established in her mind, body, and affairs. Did you guys hear me when I said that? Let me reread this. People little dream of how their affairs react to the body. There is a mental correspondence for every disease. A person might receive instantaneous healing through the realization of her body being a perfect idea in divine mind, and therefore whole and perfect. But if she continues her destructive thinking, hoarding, hating, fearing, condemning, the disease will return. Jesus Christ knew that all sickness came from sin, but admonished the leper after healing to go and sin no more, lest a worse thing should come. The metaphysician is always delving deep into the correspondence in disease. In order to achieve total healing, the soul, the subconscious mind, must be washed whiter than snow. Jesus Christ said, "Judge not, lest ye be judged." Many people have attracted disease and unhappiness through condemnation of others. What a woman condemns in others, she attracts to herself. For example, a friend came to me in anger and distress because her husband had deserted her for another woman. She condemned the other woman and said continually, she knew he was married and had no right to accept his intentions. I replied, "Stop condemning the woman, bless her, and be through the situation. Otherwise, you are attracting the same thing to yourself." She was deaf to my words, and a year or two later became deeply interested in a married man herself. People pick up a live wire wherever they criticize or condemn, and may expect a shock. Indecision is a stumbling block in many a pathway. In order to overcome it, make the statement repeatedly. I am always under direct inspiration. I make right decisions quickly. These words impress the subconscious, and soon one finds himself awake and alert, making her thoughts move without hesitation. Oh, that was good. I have found it destructive to look to the psychic plane for guidance, as it is the plane of many minds and not one mind. That's what I was talking to you guys about earlier, about the horoscope. I wasn't expecting that. As a woman opens her mind to subjectivity, she becomes a target for destructive forces. The psychic plane is the result of her mortal thought and is on the plane of opposites. She may either receive good or bad messages. The science of numbers and the reading of horoscopes keep people down the mental or mortal plane, for they deal with only the karmic path. I know of a man who should have been dead years ago, according to his horoscope. But he is alive and a leader of one of the biggest movements in this country for the uplift of humanity. It takes a very strong mind to neutralize a prophecy of evil. The student should declare, every false prophecy shall come into naught, and every plan God in heaven has not planned shall be dissolved and dissipated. The divine idea now comes to pass. However, if any good message has ever been given to one of coming happiness or wealth, harbor and expect it, and it will manifest sooner or later through the law of expectancy. A woman's will should be used to back the universal will. I will that the will of God be done. I say that sometimes too, when I'm in the shower. This chapter right here, we needed this. I'm praising too. Man, I needed it. Let your will be done. I'm telling you what. It's been a rough week for me. And this has been what I needed, was to have, just to sit down, have a vlog time, sit here and tell you and kind of open up my heart a little bit. I am going through a couple of life changes, and it's empowering me. It's fantastic. I'm truly, honest to God, better than I've ever been. And it's also another of the most difficult things I've ever had to adjust to. This is the first time I've lived on my own, and I would have to say 11 years. I am doing great, living the dream, taking it one day at a time, because I'm honest to God, genuinely, every day, putting forth an effort to discipline myself, self-discipline, to seek the positive in everything and reset my mind. This is a one day at a time, one realization at a time, one action reversal at a time, one single day at a time. It's been almost 32 years of instability that I'm learning to reset, and you have to do that too, I had a conversation about, what's so funny? So in one of the stores up north in Michigan. There is a store called Myers. And inside there's this horse. You put a penny in this horse, and it's Penny is the name of the horse, and it rides for a penny for probably a good minute, maybe a minute and a half. I mean, it's a good little, maybe it's not quite that long, but anyways, my kids loved it. That was their favorite part of going to the store. And my daughter, it's been maybe 3 years since we were up there, and she said this evening while we were in the store about how she missed it. Like, hey Mom, do you remember Penny and Myers when we used to go to the store, when we used to go grocery shopping? We were in Publix and they don't have that. And I was like, yeah, I can't believe that you remember that. That was a highlight of her life. And I had to tell her, because she was sad, you know, she was pining and just remorseful for a minute about having to give something like that up, you know. I told her sometimes in life you have to give up little tiny things that we love for the bigger picture. And that's okay, because you develop new things that you love. And you always hold those memories. You always have those little tokens of happiness, because those were once things that were part of something that did make you very happy. And then you move on with your life. Like I said, there's life beyond this point, and there's new things. And that's where you have to sit here and say, let your will be done, whatever it is, because right now I'm down in the outs, I'm in the pits, I'm down here not quite understanding what this lesson is that you're trying to teach me, not quite sure why I had to go through that to learn this lesson, whatever it is that you're trying to teach me. For me, the shower is my box of confessional, where it's just me. That's my time to get clean, and that's the time that I feel safe enough to break, because that's my alone time. And there's several times where I stand there and I'm like, whatever this is, whatever you're trying to teach me right now, let your will be done. Let your will be done. Because I didn't even think that I was going to have life beyond that point. And look at me sitting here living. Look at me go. Look at me go. Look at you go. Woo, I'm about to be strong, huh? You know, you have to rip muscles to break them. So anyways, that hit me. I needed this chapter tonight, apparently. So I'm going to read that again. However, if any good message has ever been given to one of coming happiness or wealth, harbor and expect it, and it will manifest sooner or later through the law of expectancy. A woman's will should be used to back the universal will. I will that the will of God be done. It is God's will to give each woman every righteous desire of her heart, and her will should be used to hold the perfect vision without wavering. The prodigal son said, I will arise and go to my father. It is, indeed, often an effort of the will to leave the husk and swine of mortal thinking. It is so much easier for the average person to have fear than faith. So faith is an effort of the will. As a woman becomes spiritually awakened, she recognizes that any external inharmony is the correspondence of mental inharmony. If she stumbles or falls, she may know she is stumbling or falling in consciousness. I needed this. One day, a student was walking along the street, condemning someone in her thoughts. She was saying mentally, that woman is the most disagreeable woman on earth. Then suddenly 3 teenagers rushed around the corner and almost knocked her over. She did not condemn the teenagers, but immediately called on the law of forgiveness, and saluted the divinity of the woman. Wisdom's ways are always of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. When one has made her demands upon the universal, she must be ready for surprises. Everything may seem to be going wrong, when in reality, it is going right. I'm going to say that one more time, because I'm telling you, I needed this tonight, apparently. And I hope that one day I'm going to look back on this video and be like, I remember where you were. I remember that night. I remember that week. Look at us. Look at us now. I'm going to read that again, because somebody needs this. Are y'all writing this down? Write this down. Number 1, Ask for God's will to be done. And when you make your demands upon the universe, you got to be ready for surprises. Everything may seem to be going wrong when in reality it is going right. Write that down. When it seems like everything is going crazy, when this is the end of the world, it's like an avalanche just kind of coming down. Come on, we're climbing Everest in flip-flops. That's an exit that we got off on. Get back on the interstate. Let's go. Where are we going? Now where are we going from here? You can go anywhere you want to. Let your will be done. Let your will be done. I'm taking the burden. Casting the burden. This is what also this is. Casting the burden. Let your will be done. For example, a woman was told that there was no loss in divine mind. Therefore, she could not lose anything that didn't belong to her. That is my mantra. Y'all need to write that down. I'm telling y'all, I needed this tonight. I hope y'all are getting as much out of this as I am. I needed this tonight. If it's mine, I cannot lose it. If it's not mine, I do not want it. And that is my mantra. I have it written in dry erase marker on my mirror with like 5 other motivationals that I need to visualize every day. Every day. No amount of guilt can change the past, and no amount of anxiety can change the future. I have that written down. If it's mine, I cannot lose it. If it's not mine, I do not want it. That's everything with life. So write that down. A woman was told that there is no loss in divine mind. Therefore, she could not lose anything that belonged to her. Anything lost would be returned, or she would receive its equivalent. Anything lost will be returned, or I will receive its equivalent. Anything lost will be returned, or I will receive its equivalent. Anything lost will be returned, or I will receive its equivalent. Several years previously, she had lost $2,000. She had loaned the money to a relative during her lifetime, but the relative had died, leaving no mention of it in her will. The woman was resentful and angry, and as she had no written statement of the transaction, she never received the money. So she determined to deny the loss and collect the $2,000 from the Bank of the Universal. She had to begin by forgiving the woman, as resentment and forgiveness closed the doors on this wonderful bank. She made this statement: I deny loss. There is no loss in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot lose the $2,000 which belong to me by divine right. As one door shuts, another door opens. She was living in an apartment house that was for sale. In the lease, there was a clause stating that if the house was sold, the tenants would be required to move out within 90 days. Suddenly, the landlord broke the lease and raised the rent. Again, injustice was in her pathway. But this time, she was undisturbed. She blessed the landlord and said, Since the rent has been raised, it means that I'll be that much richer, for God is my supply. New leases were made out of the advanced rent, but by some divine mistake, the 90 days clause had been forgotten. Soon after, the landlord had an opportunity to sell the house. On account of the mistake of the new leases, the tenants held possession for another year. A month or 2 passed, and the agent again appeared. This time he said to the woman, Will you break your lease for the sum of $1,500? It flashed upon her, Here comes the $2,000. She remembered having said to her friends in the house, We will all act together if anything more is said about leaving. So her lead was to consult her friends. These friends said, Well, if they offered you $1,500, they will certainly give $2,000. So she received a check for $2,000 for giving up the apartment. It was certainly a remarkable working of the law, and the apartment injustice was merely opening the way for her demonstration. It proved that there was no loss, and when a woman takes her spiritual stand, she collects all that is hers from this great reservoir of God. I will restore to you the years of the locusts have eaten. The locusts are the doubts, fears, resentments, and regrets of mortal thinking. These adverse thoughts alone are self-deafening, for no woman gives to herself but herself, and no woman takes away from herself but herself. People are here to prove God and to bear witness to the truth. and they can only prove God by bringing plenty out of lack and justice out of injustice. Prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. The vision and action must go hand in hand. That was intuition and guidance. So if that was speaking to you tonight, like that was speaking to me, give it. Give every single bit of it. All of that anxiety, that stress, that indecisive weight that you're carrying. Let God's will be done. Give it up. Exhale it. Let your will be done. If it's mine, I cannot lose it. If it's not mine, I do not want it. Whatever was taken from me will be returned. And if it's not, give me its equivalent. Because I'm going to receive its equivalent. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God is my supply. That was chapter 8. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Intuition or guidance. Acknowledge God in all thy ways, and God shall direct thy path. So here we go, asking for a lead. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope it's phenomenal. Pick this up. It's Florence Scovel Shinn's The Complete Writings of Her Ageless Wisdom for Today. Like I said in previous chapters, it's catered towards women just because she was a woman and she was writing it. Doesn't mean that it's not just as equally relevant to everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I needed that. Until next time, have a great week, guys. Bye.